Cliff Burton's style was unmistakable, especially because of the way he moved his head to the rhythm of his bass, as if he were possessed by the music. That was Cliff, the legendary Metallica bassist who redefined what it meant to play bass in a thrash metal band. He was not only an exceptional musician, but also a creative force that left an indelible mark on Metallica's sound and identity. Cliff Burton joined Metallica in 1982, when James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich saw him perform at a show in Los Angeles. They couldn't believe the skill and intensity with which Cliff played. However, to join the band, Cliff set an unusual condition. Metallica would have to move from Los Angeles to San Francisco. That's how confident he was in his talent. And the band agreed, relocating to Northern California. With this decision, a new era for Metallica began, and Cliff became an essential piece of their success. From the very start, Cliff brought a musical vision that took Metallica to unprecedented levels. A perfect example of his contribution is the iconic song, Anesthesia, pulling teeth from the Kill 'Em All album. This track, essentially a distorted bass solo, showcased a unique way of playing bass in metal. Cliff worked magic, blending a heavy sound with experimentation and the use of distorted effects. This not only made him a pioneer, but also paved the way for future bassists, showing that the bass could shine just as much as the guitar or drums in a metal band. Cliff's style was unmistakable, not just in the way he played, but also in his stage presence. He used a modified Rickenbacker 4001 bass, an instrument that helped create those unique effects that defined his sound. His love for classical music and his technique were reflected in every chord. When he played, it was as if the bass became an extension of his body, something the audience could feel in every note. Another fascinating detail was his famous headbanging. Cliff didn't just move his head to the rhythm of the music. He seemed to enter a trance, swinging his long hair as he played. This image became a symbol of Metallica's early concerts and a visual element that fans still remember with nostalgia. Something also quite fascinating about Cliff Burton is that he wore a lucky bell hanging from his belt during concerts. He considered it a personal talisman, and it became an iconic part of his style both on and off the stage. But Cliff wasn't just a highly skilled musician, he was also a decisive influence on the band. He loved classical music and had a deep admiration for bands like Black Sabbath and Misfits. This mix of influences gave Metallica's songs more depth and complexity, something that was uncommon in thrash metal at the time. In songs like For Whom the Bell Tolls and Orion, his talent shined, proving that the bass could tell stories just as much as any other instrument. Cliff Burton's final concert with Metallica was on September 26, 1986, in Stockholm, Sweden, at the Solnahallen Arena. This concert was part of the Damage, Inc. European tour to promote their Master of Puppets album. Unfortunately, Cliff's story with Metallica came to a tragic and abrupt end. During the European tour in 1986, the band's bus was involved in an accident in Sweden. That night, Cliff and Kirk Hammett had drawn cards to decide who would sleep in the top bunk, switching places at the last moment. When the bus overturned, Cliff lost his life. His death left a void in the band and in the hearts of his fans. Years later, Metallica dedicated the album, And Justice for All to his memory, a tribute to their friend and musical brother. Although his time in Metallica was brief, Cliff Burton's influence lives on. His legacy is felt not only in the songs he left behind, but also in the way he redefined what a bassist could do in a metal band. In 2009, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame alongside the rest of Metallica, and he remains one of the most legendary figures in rock history. Cliff Burton was, and always will be, a metal hero. Don't forget to like and share this video with other rock and metal fans.